Today we're going to talk about my 5 favorite knife steels. Now the steels on this list are in no particular order. I'm just going to go over them and tell you about some of their attributes and why I prefer them. First on the list is going to be K390. This is a Spyderco Stretch 2 in K390. This is quite a bit tougher than 1095, which is a steel that is highly revered in the industry. It's bragged on all the time, and so is 01. It's not that they're bad steels, it's just that K390 is far superior. It's tougher, quite a bit tougher than either of those steels, and it holds an edge probably 3 or 4 times longer. It has 9% vanadium content, so it forms a lot of really coarse carbides. It takes and holds a beautiful toothy edge that almost acts like mini serrations. K390 will take a patina, just very slowly. It doesn't do it fast, and you have to be persistent, but over time, it still will patina. In my opinion, K390 can replace all other carbon steels. Next on the list is AEBL. AEBL is excellent for fixed blade knives. It originally was made as a razor blade steel, so it takes an edge with a low angle. You can sharpen AEBL to 12 or 13 degrees per side and it will be stable and it'll hold up. Excellent for camp knives, knives that you're going to take into the wood. It's a true stainless. It's not going to rust on you. You will not have problems maintaining it. It also sharpens very easily. It'll sharpen on ceramic rods. It'll sharpen on that proverbial rock that's so often talked about. This is one by William Collins. This is a junior field lure in AEBL. It is perfect in a hard use knife. If you look on Laren's website, this has a toughness of 9, which is the same as 3V, and it's also the same as 420HC. So it's an incredibly tough steel. Now the downside of it is the wear resistance is stated as a 3, but if you look at steels like 1095, they're only a 1.5. So this starts out as quite a bit better than that, and I believe 420HC only is 1.5 or 2 on edge retention. When AEBL is run around 63 Rockwell, it holds an incredible edge. It jumps up into the next class of steels. So not only do you have a steel that is really tough and it'll take abuse out in the woods, it also has very good edge retention and it can be sharpened at a very low edge angle. All these attributes combined and the fact that it is stainless makes this an ideal steel for a woods knife. Third is S90V. This is probably my favorite steel of all time for a folding knife. It holds an incredible toothy edge. I love toothy edges. This is a Benchmade 940 in S90V. This is just an incredible steel. I love S90V in a folder. Out of all the super high edge retention stainless steels, this is the only one that's actually tough enough for my use. Now, I can sharpen this to a pretty low angle. I'll sharpen this down to around 14 degrees per side. See, I'm a little different than most people. Most people stay well above 30. It'll stay anywhere between 34 and 40 degrees inclusive. I'll do on this steel 14 per side or 28 inclusive. When you lower the edge angle, you greatly increase the edge retention, and you also improve the knife's slicing ability. So with that lower edge angle, this is an awesome steel. Just like K390, it has 9% vanadium. So this also has a lot of carbides. Now when you sharpen up S90V, you really do need diamond stones. But even if you did polish it, as the edge breaks down, it reveals more of these coarse carbides and the edge will turn toothy. It takes and holds that working edge just about forever. It is a wonderful steel on an EDC folder. Next on the list is Magna Cut. If you live in an area with a corrosive environment, for example, close to the ocean or anywhere where you're going to be wet a lot of times. For example, it could be a hot environment and you're just sweating a lot. That's equivalent to salt water. That's just like being close to the ocean. Then Magna Cut is a no-brainer. Magna Cut is such a balanced knife steel and it does everything well. This is the Maverick by Tactile Knife Company. Same company that makes a tactile turn pen. This is certified at between 63 and 64 Rockwell, and Magna Cut at this hardness is awesome. It also takes a very fine edge. You can lower the DPS down to, again, 12 or 13 degrees per side, and it remains stable. That's important. I love steels that you can sharpen at a low DPS and that the edge is tough enough and remains stable. Now, edge stability and toughness are two different things. You can take 1095 and run it at around 59 Rockwell, and you can do carving in wood and the edge will hold up okay. Now, if you want more toughness, you can lower that hardness down to around 56. You will have a knife that'll baton and is not going to break on you, but when you try and do some of that carving, especially if you get a little bit of twisting motion in there, you will roll that edge. So by increasing the toughness, the edge stability actually went down. So they're not necessarily linked together. So Magna Cut is just an awesome all-around choice. It's one of those rare steels that has an excellent blend of all of the attributes. It's almost 100% completely stainless. It takes and holds a really good toothy edge. You can even polish it if you want to. Combined with the low DPS, it's just an amazing steel. It also does have a good amount of carbide, so it's an excellent toothy edge with a lot of bite. This is a knife I made. It's my improvement of the Junior Field Lore. It's just a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger handle, thicker handle, thinner blade stock, and this is also in Magna Cut. This has been an incredible knife to carry. This has been my favorite EDC knife, and I just love this steel, and I love this knife. To round out my top 5 choices is Crewwear. Crewwear is another really balanced steel. It trades off some of that stain resistance that Magna Cut has, but it is very tough. It holds a great edge. It takes a very fine edge, low edge angle. It's perfect for fixed blade knives. The last steel on our list is Crewwear. This is a Manix 2 XL. You can see there, CPM Crewwear. This is another very tough steel. This is a great steel for a fixed blade knife or for a hard use folder. This makes a great camp knife. It's a great knife to take out in the woods. It'll take a beating and hold that edge. I think it has a little bit lower carbide volume than Magna Cut, so it's not gonna hold an edge quite as long or hold that toothy edge quite as long. But it is excellent, and then again, it's a steel that's very well balanced. You just trade a little bit of the rust resistance that you get with Magna Cut for increased toughness. So if you need a knife that's really tough, you're gonna have a beater for use in the woods, you plan on doing some batoning and things like that, Crewwear is an excellent choice. Now for some honorable mentions. I love 01 tool steel. Now these knives that I'm going to show you are all knives and sheaths that I have made. The wood on this is desert ironwood burl, and we have a convex 01 tool steel blade, 5/32 of an inch thick. Very comfortable in hand. I just love this knife. To me, a convex edge makes a great bushcraft knife. So this is a replacement to me for a Scandi. I also have this small Canadian belt knife that I made. This is an EDC version. 3.5 inch blade. Again, 01 tool steel, convex, 5/32 of an inch thick. Bloodwood scales. 01 is a great steel. It's quite tough. It has good edge retention, and it is very easy to sharpen. Now you can take some of the high-end super steels, but what makes 01 really good is at the end of the day, it doesn't licks on the strop, and these knives are all sharp and ready to go again. You don't have to spend an excessive amount of time maintaining your blades. Another steel that I really like is A2. It's a step over 01. It'll give you just a slight amount of rust resistance. It has a little bit of chromium in it. So this is a standard bushcraft knife. Scandi grind, 11 degrees per side. Desert ironwood handle, hidden lanyard. This knife also has a semi-hidden lanyard. these lanyards hang out the back and they don't get in your way. When you have a lanyard hole through the handle and you put one in there, you're always fighting against it. It's always binding you up. So this is ideal. A2 will hold an edge a little bit longer than O1. It's also a little bit tougher. And it's a steel that's very easy to work with. Great steel. Now another honorable mention is 80 CRV2. I use this steel for prototypes. It's a very tough steel. It's another steel that's as tough as 3V, although it's not the best in the edge holding category. It comes in a little bit behind 1095. This is called the Scorpion, and it's sharp all the way around, all the edges. You have to be very careful. This thing just wants to bite. That's why it's got a scorpion right in there. So this is a great steel. Like I said, for prototypes, it's very inexpensive, and I really enjoy making knives out of this steel. Now the tough question. If I could only have one knife steel, and that's it, it would come from these choices, but which one would it be? I can real quick narrow it down to two steels. That's going to be Magna Cut and Crewware, because the steel has to be able to do everything. So you need a steel that is well balanced. You also need a steel that has some rust resistance, because you may be in damp or wet environments, a corrosive environment. That part alone sways my choice towards Magna Cut. Now you also need the knife to be able to handle all camp tasks and to be able to take some abuse. What if you wanted to practice some bushcraft skills? You wanted to do some shelter building? A lot of people love the baton. I don't find that that's really necessary. Yes, you can baton small pieces of wood, and I'll do that to get to an inner dry part for starting a fire. But we're talking stuff that's, 1.5 inches and maybe even 2 inches in diameter, nothing larger than that. If you have the skill set, it's really not necessary. Now, that aside, it is something that is fun to do, and it is a valid test on a knife that's marketed as a heavy-duty survival type knife. That's going to be it about batoning. That's a subject for another video. So if I had to narrow it down, I think I would have to go with Magna Cut. It's tough enough. It's practically corrosion proof. It holds a great edge. It takes a low edge angle. It has all of the attributes that I like in a steel. I'm not picking this just because this is all the hype and all the rage today. It really is a very well-balanced steel that excels at most tasks. It may not be on the top, the very top of every category, but it'll be in the number 2 place in each category. And that's perfectly acceptable. That well-balanced, reliable, dependable steel is what I'm after. And from my testing and making knives in this steel, I have found that Magna Cut delivers. And this would be my number 1 choice if I could only have one steel for folders, traditionals, or fixed blades for the rest of my life. What are your 5 top choices in knife steels? And if you could only have one, what would it be? Let me know in the comments below. That's going to be it for this one. We'll see you on the next video.